How long India is developing? In healthcare access and quality, India ranks 145 among 195 countries. In education, India is not able to provide the basic elementary education despite having several schemes and an RT Act. In employment, 31 million Indians are still not able to find their jobs. Roughly speaking, before independence, 70% of India's wealth was looted by Britishers, 25% was looted by Jamindars and Jodhedars, and merely 5% was being spent for India's development. And even after independence, the figures might not have changed, but approximately remain the same. Following independence, our initial 5-year plans focused mainly on agriculture and industries, putting aside education, and these prompted a setback in the right, universal adult franchise, and the ability to question and innovation. Partition of British India costed us a lot in terms of finance and agriculture production. Finance in the sense refugee rehabilitation and finance to the newly formed state that is Pakistan. And agriculture production in the sense Britishers made East Bengal that is Bangladesh to cultivate jute and sugarcane and grains in the Gangetic plains. And after liberation of Bangladesh in 1971, we lost those areas which are cultivating jute and sugarcane to Bangladesh. Later on, our government followed close economic policies to protect our domestic producers from foreign cheap and quality goods. In 1970s, our growth rate, that is Hindu growth rate, stood around at 3 to 3.5%. In 1980s, it is around or greater than 5%, and after 1991 LPG era, overall our GDP growth rate stood at 7.7%. Several governments introduced several name-fame policies and schemes, and most of them were in perilous condition because of the long-lasting and flooding virus in our genes, that is corruption. When we were in our schools and colleges, we pity everywhere is corruption, and if something wrong happens around us, we say, "Chalta yaar, ye India hai." But when we enter in our respective professions, the virus of corruption revitalizes in our blood, and again we start taking bribes, and we become work absconders, saying some escaping and foolish reasons. Greediness is everywhere in the world, but the level of greediness in India has boomed like anything, grabbing the other man's space and need. Our research is only limited to publishing papers on good journals. Our industries are still suffering from managerial inefficiency. Our best brains are moving out. Our research and development policies and schemes are still insufficient of funds. We are inadequate of sufficient doctors and judges in the 130 crore Indian population. When our scripture says adultery is wrong, we talk about using condoms. When our scripture says humanity is above all, we talk about enmity in acquiring material needs. When our scripture says women held special status on Mother Earth, we talk about love jihad, honor killing, and gang rape. In India, to show our compliance to the rules and basic standards, there must be a codified form. Unless it is written, for example, please stand in a queue, we do not stand in a queue. We violate traffic rules, we do not throw garbage in dustbins, we do not segregate degradable and non-degradable waste. Though we are educated, we behave uncivilized. We build temples for upholding the peace, but in the name of religion like Hindu and Muslim, we ruin the peace. Let us admire the fundamental rights and secure prosperity of all our citizens, irrespective of religion, caste and sex. Let us vote for the Uniform Civil Code to prevent discrimination against women. Let us leave some space for others to live, and let us not earn more than required. Finally, let us realize our positive potential and take example of other developed countries like Japan and Singapore and indigenize those strategies. Let us do justice to our professions, and whatever be the legal profession, be patriotic to it and be selfless. Let us educate whole India and choose the right leaders who can work for the health and wealth of the country. Let us say India is a developed country rather than a developing one. Please be a part of it. Thank you.